Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling head, neck, and jaw pain.
Oh yeah, big topic.
And you know that feeling you get the dull ache in your temples or a stiff neck that just won't quit?
Tell me about it.
We're going to explore all that today.
Absolutely, and how to actually make it better.
Yeah, so much of what we think about as separate problems is actually connected.
It really is.
And I was looking at some of your research on how jaw muscles can cause head and neck pain. That was fascinating. It's not just about chewing, is it?
No, not at all. When you think about it, if your jaw muscles are always clenched, it's like they're using up all the stability,
Right.
creating this power leak in your head and neck, so other muscles have to compensate.
I see.
And that leads to more tension, more imbalances, and eventually pain. It's a chain reaction.
So it's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Let's get into the actual exercises then from the research you sent over.
Sure.
The first one was jaw mobilization, which uses a small ball, like a lacrosse ball, and you kind of twist it into the muscles at the corner of your jaw. What's that twisting motion doing?
So that twisting is all about targeting your fascia.
Fascia. And what is that exactly?
It's this web of connective tissue that runs throughout your whole body, and it can get super tight.
Okay.
And that leads to pain, limited range of motion. It's like a network of cables all tangled up.
So when you tack it with the ball and then twist, you're basically untangling those cables.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. And that's what helps restore smooth movement.
Makes me think of myofascial release.
Exactly. Myofascial release is all about releasing tension in that fascia manually. And this tack and twist method is a way to do that at home.
Love it. The research mentioned it should feel weird but good. What's happening in the muscles when you get that feeling?
So that weird but good feeling is usually a sign you're hitting those tight spots and releasing adhesions that have built up.
Okay.
And as that fascia releases, you might feel warmth, tingling, maybe some soreness. Your body's like, finally, someone's paying attention to this.
I like it. So moving on to the head mobilization. This one focuses on the temples with the ball again.
Right.
But now we're making funny faces. I have to admit, I laughed when I read that part.
Well, it may seem silly, but those expressions are really effective for relieving tension
Interesting.
because the muscles in your face, even your scalp and around your eyes, can get so tense, especially now with screens and stress.
So true.
We spend so much time with our heads tilted down looking at phones or hunched over computers.
Yeah.
Those muscles never get to fully relax or move through their full range.
It makes sense. So basically, it's like yoga for our faces.
Exactly. By making those funny faces, we're stretching and releasing those muscles, improving blood flow, bringing back that natural mobility.
Next up, we've got neck mobilizations, starting with the anterior neck, so the muscles at the front. I can feel those get tight after a long day at work.
Oh, for sure. And you're not alone.
What's happening there when those muscles get shortened from looking down at our phones all the time?
Well, it creates this domino effect. They restrict your breathing because they limit the diaphragm's movement,
Wow.
affect your posture by pulling your head forward, and can even impact your nerves by compressing those running through your neck.
I never thought about the nerve connection.
Yeah, it's more than just releasing tightness. It's about restoring proper length and function to those muscles.
I see.
And this exercise uses the same tack and twist technique. You tilt your head to the side, position the ball above your collarbone, and then gently move your head around, using the ball to release those tight spots.
And you can put your arm behind your back on the same side to increase the stretch.
Right, exactly. That helps create leverage and really target those deeper muscles, like gently convincing them to let go.
Okay, so we've done the jaw, the temples, the front of the neck.
Right.
What about the back of the neck? I feel like that's a big one for a lot of people, especially if they sit at a desk all day.
Definitely a huge one. The posterior neck mobilization targets that area. It can become a real hotspot for tension, leads to pain, stiffness, headaches, all sorts of things.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's often caused by posture, right?
Exactly. Those hours we spend hunched over screens, it really takes a toll.
It makes me think about how all these exercises could have benefits beyond just pain relief. Like the research mentions some, but could improving head, neck, jaw mobility actually impact things like sleep or energy levels or even how we think?
It's amazing how these simple movements tap into this whole complex system in our bodies.
Yeah.
When we release tension and get things moving properly in one area, it can really affect the whole body.
So true. Our bodies are all connected.
They really are, even though we don't always think about it that way.
I'd love to talk more about the sleep connection. I know some people clench their jaw at night.
Oh, absolutely. Chronic jaw tension can really mess with your sleep quality.
Is that right?
All that clenching and grinding, even if you're not aware of it, It disrupts your sleep cycles, and you don't get that deep, restful sleep.
So these exercises could actually help us sleep better.
Exactly. And think about how important sleep is for everything. Physical recovery, mental clarity. It all ties in.
Makes sense. What about cognitive function? Could these exercises actually help us think better, focus more?
There's some really interesting research coming out about that.
Okay.
It's still pretty new, but some studies have shown a link between jaw pain and trouble concentrating or remembering things.
Wow, I never would have thought of that connection.
It really highlights how interconnected our bodies are. Like jaw tension can affect so much more than just your jaw.
It's fascinating. And what about energy levels? I always feel drained after sitting at my desk all day, but I never really connected that to neck tension.
Well, think about it. When your head's constantly jutting forward, your neck and upper back muscles are working overtime to hold it up.
Right.
Like you're carrying around an extra weight on your shoulders.
No wonder it's exhausting.
Exactly. So if you improve your posture, you free up all that energy that was being wasted.
And that energy can be used for other things, like being more active or creative or just feeling more alert.
Right. It's all about optimizing how your body uses its resources.
So we're talking better sleep, sharper thinking, more energy, all from these exercises for our head, neck, and jaw.
It's incredible, right? These small areas have such a huge impact on our overall well-being.
It is pretty amazing. And it all comes back to addressing the root cause of the problem instead of just treating the symptoms.
Exactly. When you restore proper movement and function, those positive effects ripple out to the whole system.
It's like that interconnectedness we talked about before. It's not about fixing one thing in isolation. It's about understanding how everything in our bodies works together and how even small changes can make a difference. It's really amazing to think that just improving mobility in our head, neck, and jaw could have such a big impact on our sleep and energy and even how well we think.
It really changes how we think about health and wellness, doesn't it?
Yeah, we tend to compartmentalize things, but it sounds like our bodies don't really work that way.
Not at all. Everything's connected.
We've covered a lot today, from how the exercises work to the benefits they could have for our well-being. But before we wrap up, I wanted to touch on something else.
Sure.
We talked about the physical effects of head, neck, and jaw tension, but what about the emotional and mental side of things?
That's a great point. We hold a lot of stress and tension in our bodies.
Right.
And the head, neck, and jaw are definitely some of the main places for that.
Like when you're stressed, do you clench your jaw or tense up your neck?
Absolutely. Most people do it without even realizing it.
I know, I do. I never really made that connection before.
So it makes you wonder, could releasing that physical tension actually help us emotionally too?
Interesting.
Like, could it help us manage stress better or even improve our mood? It's definitely something to think about.
It's like we've opened up a whole new area to explore.
Definitely.
And it highlights how important it is to look at health holistically, to see the connection between our physical, mental, and emotional well-being.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that there's always more to learn and more connections to uncover.
Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap up our deep dive for today. It's been fascinating, and I hope everyone listening has learned something new about these simple but powerful exercises.
It's been great exploring this with you. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. So give these exercises a try and see how you feel.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.